Welcome into PFF HQ. I'm here with Mike Renner, Austin Gayle. We're going to be going into the top improved pass rush units, looking at the draft, where players were added. And first team on the list is the New York Jets, adding Quinnen Williams is the biggest star there.
Yeah, there was a super deep defensive line class. 12 guys got drafted in the first round, but there wasn't a single team that double-dipped along the defensive line over the first two rounds. The Jets were probably the closest in terms of adding Quinnen Williams in the top 5 of the draft, then got Ja'Kai Polite there in the third round. But Quinnen Williams, obviously the reason why they make this list. He is a dominant, from day one, sort of impact starter there along the defensive line. Highest grade we've ever given an interior defensive lineman in our 5 years of grading college football. I really don't have a lot of question marks about his game. I think he'll translate right off the bat.
In addition to being the highest graded defensive interior, he's also the highest graded defender this past year. He played very well, and I think he immediately is going to translate at the NFL level. Speaking of which, along that defensive line, they still have Leonard Williams. They're talking about trading him here and there. There are some rumors, but you have to think that pairing would do super well if Leonard Williams does indeed stay.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't have to trade Leonard Williams. He's a good player in his own right. Yes, you may not get him for much longer beyond this year. You might not have to re-sign him with Quinnen Williams in the fold, but defensive tackles don't play 1,000 snaps. They have to come off the field. I think even as a rookie, Quinnen Williams is going to need that. He's only have 1 year of full-time starting in college football. You don't want to go all of a sudden from 700 snaps to 900 snaps with him and sort of, he might hit that rookie wall later on in the season. So I think you need to get him in a rotation, and he'll be very effective in that role.
Absolutely, and I want to talk more about Ja'Kai Polite. He obviously fell in the draft due to a poor combine, poor testing numbers, but when you watch this guy on tape, on the field, what do you see from him, the strengths?
Yeah, I think the testing numbers just didn't match the explosion you saw on tape. Now, some of that might just be he tried to put on weight to meet the sort of thresholds that a lot of teams have. A lot of teams want to see their edge defenders over 250 pounds. He played probably more in the 230s at Florida. If he gets back to that, though, you can just use him as a third down, pass rush only type of guy right off the bat. And I think in that role, he'll have an impact. You don't have to be an every down player to have an impact at the NFL level. The Jets just need anyone who can get after the passer. And Ja'Kai Polite obviously showed with a 90-plus pass rushing grade last season that he can do that.
A lot of exciting stuff coming in New York. We talked about them as a surprise, playoff contender. Sam Darnold maybe getting that next level in year 2. Defense looks good. Defensive line improved. Pass rush improved. You got to like the Jets right now. Moving to another team that improved their pass rush significantly in the draft, the Carolina Panthers, adding Brian Burns and Christian Miller.
Yeah, it's a very interesting draft that kind of went against type for the Carolina Panthers. They've always loved these big run defense first defensive ends, Julius Peppers, Charles Johnson, guys that can affect both run and pass. It's not really Burns or Miller. Both guys weighed in under 250 pounds at the combine. These are pure speed rushers. These are guys who can affect the pass, not necessarily the run game. But from that perspective, this is a pass rush type of league. It's all we really care about here at PFF. And I think Brian Burns has a very good shot of doing that right off the bat. Exceptional athlete. And we've already seen, the thing I love from him is we've seen this distinct upward trajectory over the course of his career at Florida State. Led the nation this past year during the regular season in pressures, 90.5 pass rushing grade after only a 73.6 pass rushing grade the year before. Saw him put on 15 pounds of muscle from sophomore, junior year to make that leap. You love that projection going forward. There are things about his game he needs to work on, needs to add a bull rush, but you love a guy that you've seen distinct improvement from over the course of his career.
There's few things you can't love about Brian Burns. I had an opportunity to interview him in the pre-draft process, and you see the explosion immediately, the natural ability, the pure athleticism. You make comps to Randy Gregory and Arden Key. This guy's a freak, explosive, but then you talk to him and you find out he's so interested in the details. Very much wants to improve his technique. He wants to add that bull rush. That's all he talked about when I did speak with him before the draft. I think this is a guy that's going to continue to get better because he wants to be technically sound. He wants to be more than just a freakish athlete, and that's exciting. As for Christian Miller, I think talking to him pre-draft as well, you hear teams wanted to maybe move him to off-ball linebacker, play him into this versatile role, and I think you could see him doing that in Carolina, not being a 3-down player that plays the run on the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to want him being that 3-down player trying to play the run. Just undersized. I don't see him ever really excelling in that role, and I don't think, under 250 pounds at his age is a little different than Brian Burns' age, where he's a junior coming out. Miller, a fifth-year senior, already almost 24 years old here coming out as a rookie. Only played 207 snaps prior to this past season, 472 this past year as more of a sort of pass rushing specialist in that Alabama defense. So I think that's where you could see a role for him in Carolina as a third down type of guy, or maybe even move to off ball like you mentioned.
Mm-hmm. Moving to a team that added the best pass rusher in this draft, the best edge defender by far, Nick Bosa going to the San Francisco 49ers. Of course, that pass rush improved.
Yeah, didn't add anyone else along the defensive line in this draft, but they still make the list because that's just how good Nick Bosa is. In our opinion, the comps to Joey Bosa, you have to make them. The way they move is almost identical. The way they grade it out, almost identical. 93.6 career pass rushing grade for Joey, 93.0 career pass rushing grade for Nick, and then the measurables almost identical. Just too many similarities there. And then you look at what Joey did coming out in year one with the Chargers back in the day, had an 81.6 pass rushing grade as a rookie. I think you can see a very similar immediate impact from Nick.
And Joey had that 81.6 passing grade after holding out and missing a lot of the offseason, missing the first couple of games. That was exciting to see. And this is a tidbit I think I took from one of your articles. Nick Bosa's true freshman pass rush grade is higher than Clelin Ferrell's and Brian Burns, other guys that in their best seasons at the college level. To see what he's done from a pass rushing grade perspective is absurd, considering what the work of Eric and George have done to see how pass rushing grades translate to the next level. And I know that we're talking about the draft here and how teams improve through the draft, but they added D Ford as well, which when healthy, as we saw last year, can be pretty incredible. I'm really excited to see that San Francisco 49ers pass rush. To read the full article, go ahead and go to profootballfocus.com, and while you're there, subscribe to our Edge or Elite subscription to get all the advanced stats and grades we speak to. This has been Mike Renner and Austin Gayle.